have anterior pelvic tilt, meaning that your butt tips up and your pelvis tilts down in the front, or a tilt to the anterior. Today we're gonna go over some exercises and some stretches and basically put them into a progression that can help you alleviate that and over time actually fix the anterior pelvic tilt. So here we go. Step one is what's called a lat stretch on the knees. I'm going to show you two different ways to do this lat stretch. So the first one is a hand walk lat stretch. So you're going to get down on your knees. You're going to sit back as deep as you can. You're going to reach your hands forward. And then what you're going to do is walk your hands to one side, reaching forward. The other way you can do this is reach forward with the hands like this, up on your knees and forward, and sit back into the stretch. I like to sit my hips back first, and I just find it provides a little bit of a better stretch. So in this position, you're gonna walk over so you feel a nice stretch up this side here, and then you're gonna activate the lats slightly by pressing this hand, my left hand, into the ground for 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take a big breath in. I'm going to release the press of my left hand, and I'm going to breathe out. And just try and drop my hips and my head to the ground, or in between my shoulders, and drop my hips back as far as I can. I'm going to hold this position for about 10 seconds. 8, 9, 10. I'm going to come up again with my head and a little bit with my torso. I'm going to press down on this left side again. 2, 3, 4, 5, anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds. I'm going to take a big breath in. I'm going to release the pressure of that left hand. I'm going to breathe out. And just try and sit back and relax into that stretch. Now I will repeat this 5 to 7 times on this side, and then I'd move over and I would do this side. So I'm going to walk out, walk out, walk out. I'm going to sit the hips back. I'm going to press about 20% tension into the ground with this right hand. So I'm going to press 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Big breath in. Release the press, drop the head down, sit the hips back. Nice stretch in through the lats here. After about 10 seconds in this stretch position, I'm going to come up a bit. I'm going to press 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to breathe in, breathe out. Drop the head, drop the hips, release the press, engage the nice stretch. About 10 to 15 seconds in this position. And again, I would do that for 5 to 7 reps each side. If my knees bother me and I can't get down into that bent knee position, or it's uncomfortable, or for whatever reason I can't get my hand above my head like that to do this stretch. Another way you can do this is with the thumbs down door frame stretch, or even the thumbs up door frame stretch. But what you're going to do is, in this case I'm going to take my right arm, I'm going to grab a door frame. In this case I'm using the squat rack. I'm going to line up my right arm and my left leg so they're in perfect alignment. I'm going to bend my left leg, my right arm and my right leg. I'm going to bend my left leg and I'm going to put all my weight on my left leg while my right leg stays completely straight, and I'm pushing my right hips back to the wall behind me. My shoulders are relatively straight and facing forward, and my hips are relatively straight and facing forward. And then I'm going to hold this position for about 10 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to switch sides. So I'm going to line up my left arm and my left leg. Left leg goes straight. All my weight is on a bent right arm and a bent right, which is leaning on my bent right leg. My left hip goes to the wall behind me. My hips and shoulders are relatively square and straightforward, and I'm just pressing back through my left leg, pressing my hips to the wall behind me. 7, 8, 9, 10. And you feel an amazing stretch right here through the lats. Another thing you can do here is you can actually reach down for 10 seconds, pushing the hips back to the wall behind me again. Reach down and look up to the ceiling, and you'll get a rotational effect and greatly increase the stretch in the lat as well. And I would hold this, the rotational effect, for about 10 seconds too. When I'm done with this, I bend the knee and I gently pull in with the arm and stand up. So that's an alternative way to do a lat stretch. If you can't do the bent knee on the ground stretch for whatever reasons, knee issues, hip issues, anything like that, the alternative way is to do the thumbs down or thumbs up door frame stretch, and you'll achieve the same effect of stretching of the lats quite effectively. Stretch number 2 in this protocol is a toes out hip flexor stretch to help target the psoas muscle in particular. So what we're going to do is get down on one knee. We're going to be stretching this side, the right side in this particular case, and I'm going to turn my toes out to the side like this, get on my right knee, put my hands on my hips, and I'm going to squeeze my glutes and tighten my abs in this position. And then what I'm going to do is gently oscillate forward. Hold this forward position for 5 seconds, 4, 5, and I'm going to press back. Squeeze my glutes, squeeze my abs, press forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press back. Squeeze my glutes, squeeze my abs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press back, squeeze my glutes, squeeze my abs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do 3 to 5 repetitions, probably 5 on each side. So again, down on one knee. This time we're stretching the left side. We're going toes out to the side. Bent knee on the opposite side. Hands on your hips, squeeze your glutes, engage and squeeze your abs, and just gently oscillate forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press back. 2, 3, 4, 5. Press back. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press back. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is the toes out hip flexor stretch for loosening up the psoas muscle and to help with anterior pelvic tilt. And that's exercise number 2. A different way you can kind of stretch the same area if you're uncomfortable getting into that position is down on one knee again. Opposite knee is toes out to the side. So you're basically at 90 degrees, and in this case we're going to stretch the right psoas kind of hip flexor area here and a little bit into the adductor as well. Tense the glutes, tense the abs, and just gently, with everything tensed, lean out to the side. 2, 3, 4, 5. Press back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would do 5 repetitions, 3 to 5 repetitions on each side to achieve a similar effect and target the same muscle groups that we're targeting with the toes up hip flexor stretch. Next is the goalie groin stretch. So for the goalie groin stretch, what you're going to do is you're again going to get down on one knee. You're going to take the opposite foot and put it flat on the ground, and you can go straight out beside you to set the movement up. But then what you want to do is sit your hips back, move your heel. This heel of the outstretched leg has to be in front of or in line with the knee of this opposite side leg that you're not stretching. So hands on the ground from here, doesn't quite matter where, simply in front of you a little bit is okay. You can be in a closed chain, meaning this back toe is under the foot, or you can be in an open chain position, meaning that the back of your foot is actually lying on the ground. Right now I'm in an open chain position. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to press back gently until I feel a nice stretch in the high groin area. I'm going to sit back in this position for 5 seconds, 4, 5, and then I'm going to come back up to the starting position. And I'm going to oscillate back into that position for about 5 to 10 reps. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see I was able to get back a little bit further on each rep. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Out into the starting position, move this heel in front of this knee. And I'm going to push back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, you would do 5 to 10 repetitions on each side. You'll be able to feel that you've gotten deeper and you've affected change in the tissue. And at least at that affected range of motion, you see that your range of motion is increasing. That's when you can kind of move on to the next exercise. But again, 5 to 10 repetitions is good there. So that is the goalie groin stretch, and that's the third exercise in this sequence for anterior pelvic tilt. So now that we've loosened up some of the muscles that are causing our pelvis to tilt forward or anteriorly and give us that anterior pelvic tilt, now what we're going to do is activate some muscles that will help control where the pelvis sits and how it sits by making sure that everything's fired and keeping things properly engaged and in alignment. So we're going to start that off with bowing to Buddha, and we're going to do 10 repetitions on each side. So for bowing to Buddha, you're going to get down on one knee, and you're going to drop the opposite leg. So the one knee comes up right in front, and you're going to drop the opposite leg as far back as possible. And you can go open chain, meaning your foot, the back of your foot is on the ground, or you can go closed chain, meaning that your toe is bent and underneath the foot. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go closed chain. I want to keep this leg relatively close to the center of my body, and then I'm going to actually press my elbows into my knee and kind of squeeze my knee with my elbows. I'm going to breathe in and get tight here in this bottom position, and I'm going to gently lift up with my core and squeeze my glute on this left-hand side, or this knee in front side. So breathe in and get tight, hold that breath all the way up. Slowly lower back down to the starting position and breathe out. We're going to repeat on the opposite side. This one's a slightly different angle for you guys. So that knee is in front. Back leg is down. Leg is close to the opposite leg. You may notice an extreme difference in strength from one side to the other, and that's okay. Control your breathing. So there's 10 repetitions on each side. You can do 10 to 12 to 15 repetitions, but 10 should be sufficient. You'll really feel that one. Another way you can modify this is if you have a very hard time lifting up on one side or the other, a way you can modify this is raise where your hands are. So literally get down as deep as you can, but start in a higher position. So if a client has trouble performing the movement straight from the ground up, what I would do is grab a box. I would set up the same way with that knee kind of touching the front of the box. The opposite leg as close to the center line as possible. Elbows squeezed in and hands together, and I would have them start from here. Breathe in and get tight. And then slowly control the way down. Another thing that clients can do is if they find that too difficult, sometimes I'll have them just give a little push of their arms from the ground position or from this elevated box position, and then that's a regression. If they can't do the full movement right off the bat, it can be quite a tough movement. So that's the bowing to Buddha, and that's the fourth exercise in our anterior pelvic tilt sequence. The last exercise in our anterior pelvic tilt sequence is just a leg lowering technique to activate the hip flexors and balance out and stabilize the entire chain, the entire system. So what we are going to do here is just lie down, hands beside you, lift your legs up, lower them down about halfway, bring your knees into your chest and repeat. And you're going to do 10 repetitions here. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. If you find with this exercise that certain ranges of motion cause you pain, be it having your legs this far off the ground might cause you pain in your lower back or in your hip flexors, avoid that range of motion Again, you can start out or have something like a box underneath your feet that will allow you to stop here and bring the feet in, go up to the top, bring them down to here, stop, feet in. So effectively what you're doing is regressing the movement and limiting the range of motion that you're actually allowing your legs to lower to and avoiding that area that might cause you some pain. So that's another regression for you for this particular exercise. And that is the final exercise in our anterior pelvic tilt sequence for correcting anterior pelvic tilt. Best way to complete this is by doing it twice a day. I usually suggest at about noon, if possible, or right before you do a workout, be that at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or whatever time. But noon and before you go to bed are generally some really good ways to do this. You should find that after about 8 weeks of doing this twice a day, that you get lasting and sustained results and a correction in that anterior pelvic tilt.
Please like and subscribe. If you'd like to see a particular video made, please leave it in the comments section below. I answer all comments. And thanks for supporting the Weightlifting Lab.